of this station, because it gives you the value of discharge in this in a specific point. I just wanted to mention this point to you because you want to simulate, to have a correct simulation. Then we have to provide a 2D flow area. By using this option, you can plot. When you want to plot the 2D flow area, you have to consider that where is your river, and then choose the high elevation places, because in this way you will be sure that water will go inside this area and doesn't come out. So specifically I try to choose this area, and then when you finished to the specific point, I mean that to the line that you want to close your area, you will double click on it and name this area my area, and then okay, now you have your area and we have to mesh it. Why we provide a mesh for our area of interest? Because we are working with the computational model. Computational model is a model which use some analytical methods, mathematical methods to solve the models. They discrete the equations, and we provide the mesh because we want to solve the problem point by point. So by choosing edit 2D flow area, we can provide a mesh. I have to mention this point that when you provide a mesh, you have to be aware about the point that we have to change the dimension of model and reduce the size of mesh until the time that we don't have any changes in our result. We call it the grid dependency. It means that sometimes our result is depending on the size of mesh, which is not correct, and our model will works in a good way when we don't have mesh dependency. So it's a point that we have to care about it. I try to choose 50 for the size of my rectangle, and I have to mention another point that HECRAS provide a structural mesh. It means that it is regular, but in other software you can see we have unstructural mesh, which means that it has a shape of triangle. Triangle mesh somehow take more time to solve, and using a structural mesh is better. But it depends on the software and it depends on the goal. In the next step, we have to provide boundary condition. What is the boundary condition? Boundary condition is the initial value that we have to provide for our model to say, okay, my calculation will start from this value in upstream, and it will be finished in this value. In this way, our model works will start working from this, and will start solving and do iteration by using this value. So here, because the direction of flow is coming from right to left, I will call this line upstream boundary condition. Upstream means the place that water comes from, and downstream is a place that water is going. So it is a kind of outlet. So we call it downstream. So now we have boundary condition, we have our mesh and our 2D flow area. Then we will save our geometry data, and we call it my geometry. So I will then apply OK, and now we have our geometry. Then we close this window. And in the next step, we have to define our boundary condition for unsteady flow. As we saw in providing geometry, I provided two boundary condition. But when you want to, for example, simulate, if you have two outlet, you can produce two downstream boundary condition. Or if you want to introduce precipitation as a boundary condition, you have to add another boundary condition, and each boundary condition has its own value, and we have to be aware about this point. Now for introducing upstream, we will use flow hydrograph, which helps us to know the value of this charge during the time. Hydrograph is a diagram that helps us to see the changes of this charge during the time. Our data may have an average of 1 hour, 12 hour, and it is basically based on your data, and it depends on your data. So if I want to simulate a specific event, I have a data related to the flood which was happened in 2017 in Puerto Rico, September 2017. So I choose this date. So I will choose 2017 and then September 1st. So I will click on OK, and then the time will be changed based on this, and OK, and you can see here we will add our data based on the date that we have. Here I have a discharge value for this special event. I will copy it and then choose these rows and Control V. Now we have these data. We have in this window flow hydrograph, we have to be aware about this option. Energy grade, a slope for distribution flow along boundary condition. When we it shows how the value of flow distributed along the boundary condition. If you consider it 0, the flow will totally distributed along your boundary condition. But if you change the value positive, it will not distributed in the same way. But usually we will consider it as this value, and then when you put these values, then you can click on OK, and then we have to set another boundary condition, which is usually can be considered as a normal depth, is the value of a slope in